So I really, truly, I think I just had a panic moment. And also, yeah, anyway, moving on. Thank you so much for your grace. I appreciate it. All right, so here are AZ-Dash, and I won't go through every single one of them because we're running a little bit behind, but I do want to give you a good example of what's happening. So remember, this is the district admin or superintendent view at the moment. So upper and lower results, please, Sarah. This is our Ames data. So report parameters, school district. Let's go with, where are we? Let's go to demo district, grade, I don't know, 6th grade, and year. Now I want to, we've been hoarding data. We belong on the show. We've been hoarding data and not giving it back to you. So these are all the data that we have available to show district administrators. So click on 2013. Hit get report, and you notice it happens instantaneously. What this shows is your cut scores, your upper 10%, your mid-range, and your lower 30%. Now this is great, fine and dandy, and you can see how the district level did. As a district level administrator, he could also see just the school level as well. Now this is also interactive in nature, so if you clicked like, I don't know, the lower 30% down here, Sarah? Are you driving?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I'm just kidding. If you click the lower 30% down at the bottom, it goes away and you're just left with this. So I just wanted to show you that those are interactive. So go ahead and click lower 30% again. Let's say as a district administrator, I want to improve my A through F letter grade. I want to move these kiddos. Can you move that, please? Oh, thank you. Okay, I want to move these 311 up to here, so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is, if I wanted to institute some intervention, RTIs, you know, whatever, after school, I'm going to get a 21st century grant and set up some classes. I click on the 304. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. Click on the 304 here, show details. I now see every single kid in my district who were in that lower 30% of mathematics. I can do that for all those years. Now, you know, if you need that data. So here is the school, and it would list all the schools in my district, the kiddo, the grade level, the subject, and then the score. Now I also could, scroll up please. I also could, if I wanted to, sort and filter by, not sort and filter, but I could sort, right? And see the lowest up to the highest, up to that, you know, right on that edge. If I also wanted to create some sort of export and do different graphs of this, I could export this data. Don't do that, please. Well, it'd take a while. And we've already had that glitch. So you could export the data, give it to your data folks, whatnot, and you know, they could do whatever they need to do with it. You could cut it, hey, here principal A at this school, hey, principal B at this school, so on and so forth. Students who need to pass. These are the kiddos that need to pass to be able to complete high school. So go ahead, students who need to pass. Report parameters. Let's go district again, it's already at a district level. Select 10th grade, because this is high school. Select last year, and get report. This shows you, it's coming, there it is. This shows you, here's the high school, students who need to pass math, science, and writing. Here's the number of kids, and if you click on show details, it'll tell you who those kids are, where they are, so on and so forth. Cool, huh?
Hey!
So if they were in the 10th grade, something of last year, they're with us now, I'm going to get those kids.
Yes. Nancy said, these are the kids that we own right now in SACE. And I said, yes. And she said, well, what if they come from a different district? I said, well, if they're owned by you in SACE, you're going to get them. Okie doke?
Well, wait, no, hang on. Hang on. So So I want to clarify that. So what she's asking is if this year I have the student, and last year they were in another district, I will see their last year's data because I have their SACE ID this year?
Yes.
Okay.
They would, yes, thank you, yes. Does that make sense, everybody? Because they're attached to you now. Here's something to think about. The scores and the student data follows the student. Right?
That's a good thing.
Is that a good thing?
That's a good thing.
Okay, yes.
Okay, now, clarify, if they're not in our student, they're in SACE, but they're not yet loaded to Student Course Connection, am I still going to see their AIM scores?
I have to understand, remember I told you my brain is expanding at the moment? I could answer you what I think, but I don't know that for sure, so I'm not going to answer that. Because what happens is there's a couple queries, right? Think about the back end that's going on, the logic and the queries and the pull, right? I don't know those yet. I don't know them like the back of my hand where I could say, oh, this is why, this is where it's coming from, so on and so forth. Please be patient, I'm trying to learn them. So I don't know that answer. Okay? Now, when you get to student or teacher rosters, that is 1,000%. I can say with 1,000% surety. But I don't know where this query's coming from. Okay?
Lori.
So in other words, don't,
Go ahead, Patty.
well, so just don't rely on this 100% yet if you're not loading, if you don't, let's say you don't have your 100 certified, and Johnny moved in from out of district January 30th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know just yet. I wouldn't assume one way or the other. I would take it at what its face value. And what you could do is you could poke around in it and figure out, right? I can't go down to your student level to see, you know, have you submitted them yet, right?
No.
So,
Yeah, Nancy's answering that question right
Can't
now.
look around and figure it out for sure. That's why we need an answer to that question for this reason. Because once that data, once something like that and the piece about the lower 30% is released to district and site administrators, those are the kids they're going to be focusing on for their A to F letter grades, and they have to know
and we don't want to miss
the
anybody.
data that they have is correct. Because, for example, right now, if you go into SACE and you look up the high school AIMS test that should have, quote, should, unquote, have every kid in my district and their historical high school AIMS scores, okay? And so theoretically, you should be able to download that file and figure out who needs to be tested. But that data is filtered and changed based on whether or not the student's previous score was valid for A to F letter grade, okay? If they meet FAE, the full enrollment, okay? So we can't trust the SACE data in terms of AIMS scores to make sure that to ensure that we test every kid that needs to be tested. Point taken.
Okay, so this is fantastic, as I've told you before, and our people are going to go nuts over being able to see this. But just like I asked you about every piece of data that I've looked at, I want to know what the source is.
Yeah, and I do too.
Because,
I want to know the query.
Yeah, I need to know that if I tell my administrators, you can get this from here, that they're not going to miss somebody. Because one kid could make the difference between an A and a B or a B and a C.
Correct.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's why we need that answer.
Yep.
Chris Corson, you are awesome at taking notes, sir. Would you please write down, begin to grab like queries for each of the reports? My head's gonna not fit in the door nice.
Lori,
Yes.
I think I can answer that. At the teacher level, they do not have the students unless they've been uploaded to STCC.
Yeah, but this is different because this, and I agree. This is at a district-wide level, and I don't know if they're pulling, okay, are these the roster, you know, are they pulling the rosters to pull the AIM scores to pull the results? Or do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I can't answer that, and I don't want to answer it. I want to find out and then answer you. I have one more question. Somewhere. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying that it will not necessarily tell you if they need to be tested. say they came from out of state, it will tell you they have not been tested yet.
That's a question that I'm working on at the moment as well. So another school district earlier this last month asked me that, and I'm still trying to find the answer to that. The question was, if a student came from out of state, do we know if they were tested? Now I did find in my research and whatnot, I did find there's a source somewhere online, you guys might know it, I don't.
On the ADE website.
Yeah, it's the AIM, the reciprocity. So the AIMS equals California Casey, this score, so on and so forth, the Texas TEKS, the Florida FCAT, so on and so forth. I hear that somewhere, I haven't seen it.
It's a report in
Right. Now, the good thing is once we move to that whole AZ EDS and the whole country is doing that, it won't matter, right? It'll all be talking the same common language. And if we can get to Park, you know, I shouldn't say that, I'm sorry. It just seems like it's going back and forth and whatnot. So, does that help a little? Okay. Do you want to see another report at this level, or do you want me to go to the teacher dashboard, or what do you want? Okay, we'll go to the teacher. I didn't hear anybody, so. Okay, so I need you to go to the top, log out, please. Log out, perfect. Oh, this is why we're making it all on one thing. Hang on just a minute. Okay, what's happening is I don't have a system, right? So I've got rights at this level to go in here, right? I don't have a student information. The state is my right, or my system, right? Okay, so here's the dashboards. Now, this was, you know, yeah. Can you hear me okay? Do I need this?
Yes.
Okay, I'll two-hand it here. Alrighty, so this is at the, what? Oh. Oh, I'm so happy to be here today. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, can you hear me okay? All right, so this was, I have a list now, with my shoes. All right, so this is the initial pilot that we came out with. We borrowed some of this concept from Georgia. So this is the folks that were in our advisory group for AZ-Dash, AZ Sleds, all of that. These are, we told them, if we have this data, this data, this data, this data, this data to play with, what would you like to see? And so this is what we have as a rollout. Everything, these are canned reports at the moment, but they will be rolling in and being more of those drill downs once we get them into that other one URL, right? So you don't have to log out. Well, you guys wouldn't have to log out, I have to. So this one here is at the district level. This is a history of the AIMS over the last couple, 5, 6, 7 years. This is the district against the state. We have the same thing with the district, the school, and the state as well. So what you can see is just kind of let your eyes do the walking here. This is the FAME score, right? And this is how the students performed last year on reading for this district. We also have, for some reason, this is also why we're redoing the thing. It's got double scroll bars. We also have the writing and science, so just to let you know. But what you can see is that, this district, as far as falls far below, performed better. They had less falls far below than the state did. And if you go to the other side of the continuum, you have kiddos that did, 18 some odd percent did much better, performed against the state. So that's one at the moment. We also have, we also have district attendance. And this is at a As you'll notice, we just have 2011, 2012 right now, but once everything gets done, it'll all be updated, because this was just kind of pilot. But what this shows is by categories. Down here in the green, these are your perfect attendance kiddos. In the red, these are your, major offenders constantly. And what what a district or school principal might think is, hey, did we initiate some sort of program? Do we need to initiate some sort of a attendance program incentive, give kids a cookie or what? Well, that would be bad, wouldn't it? Whatever, to get them to school. Do we need to? Did we? Is it working? So on and so forth. Down below, it just is a different representation in the bar graph, so you can see the past years by, in a different format. We also have district enrollment by grade level. Here's the enrollment by grade groups. This is particularly important if you're a charter holder, perhaps, and you're looking to expand more grades, or you're a district that wants to add a preschool, whatnot. You can make some decisions based on this as well. So you've got by categories: preschool, K5, 6, 8, 9, 12. Down below is just another continuum for you. Once again, I don't know exactly the query, you guys. I'm imagining this comes from SACE as obviously one, but I'm not for sure exactly. So I'm going to have that. Once I find out, I'm going to try to give that information to you. We also have the same thing at a withdrawal. Why? This one I'm hoping will really explode, because right now it's just kind of like whatever. I mean, it's good. But, think about all those exit codes that you give kids, right? Don't you have exit codes all over the place inside SACE? W7, W4, W whatever, XY, whatever, right? So we're not doing, I think, the detail that we need here. Right now it's just the withdrawal by grade groups, and then the reason right now is just drop out or left the school. Yeah. Yep. So this is the tip of the iceberg, right? I hear the girls behind me talking about, gosh, wouldn't it be great if we had such and such. That's why we need you to start using this. That's good, right? Yeah. I was a teacher, and I'm a mom, so. What did I teach? Math. Where? Oh. Yeah, I did a lot of stick figures on the board. I was stuck in the 1990s. Well, that's my thought. Anyway, moving on. Teacher dashboards. Oops, select a school. I'm going to pick Mr. Benjamin Tackett at the moment. Now, this is direct result of what this teacher is going to see on your latest and greatest roster of upload for student-teacher course connection. What this gives a teacher here is, remember how we asked you to break everything apart last year into, especially if you were elementary, right? You couldn't just do homeroom anymore. You needed to do first grade math, first grade science, so on and so forth.
Remember.
There was a method to our madness, or either that or a very special surprise. But what happens is now the teacher can see exactly this Benjamin Tackett. Here's his 4 classes. He sees that he has about 30, about 90 students. And what he sees below here is the aggregate level of all of those students. Oh, I can't wait for this to be redone. This is the aggregate student level of all of his students combined. So he knows at a quick glance how all of his students performed in reading, math, science on the Ames test. Now, if he wanted to look at one particular class, maybe he wants to look at this 10th grade period 1. You'll be able to go in. Now, this is English. Let's see, I want to compare that to the writing. How are my first hour English 10 kiddos performing last year in their high stakes assessment Ames? So I get a report, and I think it's just going to give me 1 at the moment. Yeah, it just gives 1. But what would happen is he would see his entire, because this is where's the one? Oh, what would happen is, never mind. What would happen is he would see all of his students here, and at a glance over there on the right-hand side, he would be able to see very quickly, does he have a classroom that, you know, a lot of falls far below? So I might want to make a decision on, well, we better start with the basics of writing instead of go, you know, start writing novels or short stories or whatever. You know, maybe we want to start sentence structure. So that's what they would see. Now, if I wanted to see what this kiddo, Giovanni, how he did in writing, I get to see, he gets to see, here's something that you guys will be very interested in, I think. He will get to see the demographics, the attendance history of the kiddo, the assessment history, and then also the enrollment history, where he came from. I think that's usually gets the biggest, ooh. You know, so you can understand where these kiddos are coming from. Now, if I wanted to see a little bit more about Giovanni, I could click on the map there, and what I would see is Giovanni's well, this is math, but I can see how he's done at the concept level over the past whatever years, like 6, 7, all of this. Has he improved? Has he always had a hard time with number sense? So on and so forth. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what we have. We're moving it all into that more, where there'll be more click downs, drill downs, so on and so forth. Any questions over that?
Screen prior to this where it does show the economic disadvantage, is it always the press that?
Oops. Am I there? Okay. I don't know yet. That was, you know, somebody brought that up already. Can we hide some of the information that we don't want others? So I don't know that question yet. Or that answer. I know the question, I don't know the answer. Yes, ladies. Whoever.
Are you going to bring in ACT and SAT tests for this?
Yeah, that was one that we didn't show on the first one. We've got ACT, we've got Explore, we've got College Readiness. We're working on procuring the SAT data. And also Stanford 10. Yeah. And Azella. Azella is coming out. Azella is the new reporting that they're working on right now.
On the district withdrawal, are you going to be able to see where those kids moved to?
Are they attached to you anymore?
No.
Then probably not.
You can see where they came from, obviously, here.
But would it be to go the other way? I don't know.
Wouldn't that be great if it did, Lori?
It would be great!
There you go.
But technically, do you own them anymore?
No, but when you lose kids, the question is, where are we losing them to?
I don't know that. I don't know if that's a FERPA or whatnot. Chris Corson, will you write that down, sir?
Wait, Lori?
I don't know.
So, Lori, here's my question on it. We were initially told that the W-4, we had a new understanding of it, right? So the
W-4 is an exit code for withdrawal?
Yeah. So there's two parts of the definition of a W-4. One is, hey, 10 days in a row, you've got an excused absence, you have to drop them, the state's not going to pay for a ghosted kid. Okay? The second one is, they've moved on, and you cannot change that to a W-1 and consider them a not dropout unless you know for certain they're enrolled at another school district, right? So if that's the case, and we now have this where we're able to see across the state can see across the state, and we should be able to see it, someone should, that W-4, that second understanding of W-4 really ought to go away.
Okay.
Because the information is there. You just showed us.
Correct.
If I enroll that kid, I've got the backpack.
Right.
I've got the test scores. And so does, well, it belongs to the parents.
Right.
So the parents can see it. So why are we penalized now with that second understanding of a W-4? Probably should be re-examined.
NCLB put that out, so that's not a state requirement, that's federal.
Okay. Well, somebody needs to go talk to the feds. I mean, we changed Common Core. We could change this.
I'll be
Do
back.
that, Lori.
I don't know that answer, but that's a great answer, you know? And once they start building this whole thing, You know, those types of questions are gonna really be, that's why Mark said a million times while you stand up here, we're not building this. You know, as far as the rules and whatnot. You guys are. There's a change management board. There's a person, you know, ADE didn't build the requirements for the new systems and whatnot.
So, you know, right now in phase, we get the dropout track and we get the subsequent enrollment report, so we're entitled to that information. It needs to be worked in here somehow.
Yeah, remember, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. Once you guys start seeing this, can you imagine what the PBI is gonna look like? You know, the product backlog for this? It's gonna be a billion. It's gonna be as big as my head once I know everything.
Change fast, it's coming fast.
Change fast, okay.
Fast.
Okay, yes,
But you don't need to change, I don't need to see what you're doing, just change my W4 to W1.
That's my point. That's my point. Right
done.
there.
No. Okay, then we'll have to talk about that.
Nancy has.
Oh.
Nancy.
We're getting in the weeds here.
No, we're not. This isn't the weeds.
I'm the weeds.
This is big.
That's why that's why we have advisory boards on what the data is gonna look like and so on and so forth. So we're just the tip of the iceberg.
But Lori, think
You
how
guys make me nervous
exciting.
sometimes.
Lori, think how excited everybody's going to be when we can get those W4s dropped. It's very exciting if that can happen.
Send me, I'll take your message in. I'm happy to.
Okay.
Send me an email explaining exactly what's going on. You want something, you gotta do something.
Well, I just did. I said it out loud.
But I don't do it. I can't use your words. Send me an email about exactly what is happening
Sure.
and Bev, do the same with the W1 and I'll take the message in. I promise.
Okay.
Okay.
Except that, you know, like Nancy said, the system should not be changing our W4 to W1.
Yeah.
Notify us. We have audit responsibilities where we have to change our documentation. We'll audit.
Point taken. All right, so that's all I had. I think what I wanted to do though, I had several people ask me about wanting to be statewide student information system. Let me make this bigger. Pilots. Oops. Slideshow from her. Okay. So if you're interested in becoming a pilot for the statewide student information system, there are some things that we're going to ask that you do. First off, you can contact me anytime, but there's also like, we have a centralized, remember how we had the STC centralized email? Excuse me, we also have an A-list one. What can you expect by becoming a SIS pilot? You would sign a letter of intent. It does not mean, all it means is that once that you've signed that letter of intent, you're the very first one. Once we do announcements and whatnot and elections, you're the first one that knows about it. And we get you going on it. There's nothing legal about it, the whole bit, and it's open. In fact, I'll post it on the website. You also are a part of the change board management seat, which means that, as Mark was talking about, no changes. ADE's not going to make the changes and the submissions and all of that. You guys are. So you would have but we can't make them willy-nilly, right? So it's an advisory group. You would also help construct training modules for the statewide SIS, determine software needs for implementation, work with whoever the team is that Mark puts together on implementing this, and what are the models. And you'll also submit the AZ Eds and what you're currently submitting dually next year. So, thank you very much. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you soon.